Hello and welcome to Season 1, Episode 4 of the Financial Planner Marketing Playbook from Bamford Media. I'm your host, Martin Bamford. In this episode, I'm sharing some ideas on how to craft compelling content for your financial planner website. I'll be talking about where to find inspiration for your website content, how website content creation kickstarts a simple process for raising your profile online, the biggest mistakes financial planners are making with their website content, why your website content is damaging your brand and client conversion rate, and also how to fix this, and where to find the free tools that will take your website content from zero to hero. If you want to learn more about the podcast, the work we do at Bamford Media, and also find some useful resources and links for this episode, you can visit bamfordmedia.co.uk/podcast. So let's get straight into it, how to craft compelling content for your financial planner website. I'm passionate about content marketing. Over the past 16 years when I've been a financial planner, I've written more than 5,000 blog posts. I've recorded more than 400 audio podcast episodes, and I've written 5 books, 2 of which were named W.H. Smith Business Book of the Month. I've also given more than 3,000 comments to journalists in the trade and national press. I've appeared on countless radio programmes, and I've even produced a feature-length documentary about retirement and the baby boomer generation. So I have lived and breathed content marketing for a very long time. I've seen it evolve during that time. And most importantly, I've seen what works and I've seen the benefits of content marketing for financial planners, especially within my own firm, that's Informed Choice. To give you some context, Informed Choice is a firm of chartered financial planners in Surrey and Hampshire. We celebrate our 25th birthday next summer and we're continuing to grow. In fact, we grew by more than 20% this year alone, and a big part of that growth is the result of our content marketing programme. In launching Bamford Media and working with financial planners, wealth managers, professional bodies and product or fund providers, we're keen to drive engagement and retain ideal clients by creating innovative and authentic content. And that includes making websites, writing blog posts, producing podcasts, writing books and producing white papers. So why is your website content so important? I think there are 3 main reasons why having engaging and regularly updated content on your website is so important for financial planners. The first reason is trust. By creating and sharing relevant content with your target audience, you position yourself as the trusted expert. Creating and sharing this relevant content turns you into an authority within your field. When it comes to money matters and personal financial planning, consumers want to work with a trusted expert. There are so many stories of bad financial advisors, the type who give cowboys and sharks a bad name. So consumers are increasingly wary about working with a financial planner. By crafting compelling content and sharing it with your target audience, you're demonstrating that you know what you're talking about, that you're passionate about that subject, and that you've got your finger on the pulse, especially when it comes to topical content. So reason number 1 why having engaging, regularly updated content on your website is so important is building trust with your audience. Reason number 2 is awareness. Now, as someone with what I would probably describe as mild narcissism, I've got no difficulty in blowing my own trumpet and raising my profile. I am a self-confessed publicity whore, and I'm quite proud of it. This year, I've had more than 200 conversations with journalists in the personal financial press, sharing my opinions on a really wide range of topics. If there is a personal finance issue or story that's relevant to my target audience, then I have got an opinion on it, and I will be sharing that opinion with the press. Here's something you probably already know, but I think it's worth saying it out loud. If you don't raise your own profile, nobody is going to do it for you. I'm sorry to say that as financial planners, we do not have a multi-million-pound advertising campaign running, raising the profile of our profession and shouting about the benefits of working with a professional advisor. It is up to you and it's up to me to tell our target audience about what we do, why what we do is so important, and why they should pick up the phone and book an appointment to get the answers to their big financial questions. Content marketing is the perfect way to raise awareness. You can and you should be using it to educate your audience, what you do, why you do it, why what you do is so important for them. You should also be using your content to raise your profile and that of your brand. So reason number 2 for crafting compelling content for your financial planner website is awareness. And then last but not least, reason number 3 is discoverability. According to Netcraft's March 2012 website survey, there were 644,275,754 active websites in the world. 644 million active websites worldwide. Fast forward 6 years, and according to Netcraft January 2018 web server survey, there are now over 1.8 billion websites worldwide. However, most of those websites get almost no visitors, no traffic, but they exist and they are competing with your website for visitors. If you fail to regularly update your website and add new, relevant, engaging content, then your website is not going to be found by your target audience. So this is about search engine optimization, SEO. Google's algorithm looks for regularly updated websites. Feed your website with regularly updated content, and then when your target customer searches for an answer to their burning financial planning question, Google will serve you up. They'll rank your website more highly. Fail to post new content on your website on a regular basis, and Google will not present your site as the answer to that particular search term. So creating and sharing compelling content on your financial planner website will do absolute wonders for your SEO, for your search engine optimization. It will do wonders for your visitor traffic, for your inquiry numbers, and for your bottom line. It is worth the effort. There are lots of good reasons for regularly updating the content on your website, but we have to admit relatively few financial planners actually do it. Earlier this year, we carried out analysis of more than 500 IFA websites across the country. We found that the typical IFA website hasn't been updated with a new blog post for 6 months. So the average blog, news or insights page was last updated with fresh content 172 days earlier. Of the IFA websites in the study, which included a blog section, only 1 in 5 had been updated in the past week. 2/3 of the websites analysed for the study hadn't been updated for at least a month, and 40% of the sites featured blog content that was more than 6 months out of date. We discovered 2 IFA websites where the last blog post was more than 5 years old. Some of the websites we visited had their most recent blog posts showing seasonal messages, including on one, Happy Christmas, which is absolutely fine if it's December, but this research was in the middle of the summer. Not so good. If you're going to include a blog, news or insight section on your website, and you really should, then you need to make a commitment to regularly update that part of the site. I would suggest that anything older than a week is possibly going to leave a bad taste in the mouth of your website visitor. When your last blog post was a fortnight ago, a month ago, maybe even longer, then you're doing some serious damage, not just to the effectiveness of your website, but also your reputation, your brand, the whole image of your business. So what do we do about this? Firstly, then, where do we go for inspiration? Inspiration for your website content as a financial planner is absolutely everywhere. Every single day, there are at least 2 or 3 topical, timely, important breaking news stories that can form the basis of new content on your website. So we can start with what's in the news. Part of my morning ritual is to listen to the Today programme on Radio 4 over my breakfast. And I'm also scrolling through my Twitter feed to see what's going on in the world. I'm quite good at multitasking. Radio 4, breakfast, Twitter, all at the same time, no problem. When I spot something on Twitter that can form the basis for a blog post or article, I bookmark it for later on. Within my email inbox, I've got a folder called Content Ideas. And that's where I file away press releases and research pieces from product providers, from fund providers. If there is one thing that we're really good at within the retail financial services profession, it's doing research to create reports and press releases. And you know the sort of thing. We saw one just the other week, which is a good example. It's from Direct Line Life Insurance, and they found that Guildford is the inheritance tax capital of the UK. And that was absolutely perfect for us because one of our offices, the one in Cranley in Surrey, is only 9 miles down the road from Guildford, so very relevant to what we do. And the research findings based on their analysis of Treasury data, and they had comments from their spokespeople, including some tips. That sort of press release is absolutely perfect inspiration for your website content, and there are tens of them published every single week. To find them, just look for stories on BBC News, or you can use Google News to search for different keywords like inheritance tax, pensions, investments, etc. Read the article, find out who supplied the research report, who supplied the stats for that article, and then visit the press centre on their website and you can find the original report and press release and use that as the basis for your content. Another really good source of content inspiration is your conversations with clients. There was a really good book published last year by a chap called Marcus Sheridan, and it's called They Ask, You Answer. Marcus turned his struggling swimming pool company around by using this approach to content marketing. It's really simple. Listen to the questions your clients, your customers are asking you, and then create content to answer those questions. Every single conversation you have with a client is probably the basis of a new piece of content. What are their big concerns? What are their worries? What are their questions about financial planning? Summarize these, and then you can write a blog post or an article to answer them. It really is that simple. If you work in a team, I think you should have a shared folder where you add those questions, those topics to a list, and then each time you create some content to answer them, just tick them off. You will always have inspiration. Another way to find those questions to answer is to follow influential personal finance commentators on Twitter and see what people are asking them, and they do ask them questions. Paul Lewis, who is presenter of BBC Radio 4's Money Box show, recently posted a tweet and he asked his followers what was their biggest personal finance concern at the moment. And as soon as I saw him tweet that, I got really excited because I knew it would become an absolute goldmine of questions from his listeners about their topical personal finance concerns. Questions that we could answer and create content around. He had loads, he had hundreds of answers from members of the public, from his listeners. It included a lot from 1950s born women about their missing state pensions. But the responses we looked through, we found 30 straight away that were relevant to the services we offer, and we're currently working through those questions to produce content answering them. If you need even more content inspiration, there's some great online tools that you can use for research. A really, really good one that I like to use is called answerthepublic.com. Answerthepublic.com. You put your keyword in and the website suggests some content ideas. So to test this out, I typed in the keyword retirement and it suggested 193 different questions, 120 prepositions and 99 comparisons. And that is based on one keyword. Another really good online tool for that sort of research is BuzzSumo. BuzzSumo helps you find the most shared content on the web. And again, I used the keyword retirement, and it showed me that an article from Suze Orman called Retirement Rules Millennials from last November had 625,000 Facebook engagements, 155 Twitter shares and 14 Pinterest shares. So you can work through using that tool, BuzzSumo, work through it, find the list of most shared content and write your own version of the most popular content that's relevant to your own focus. Once you've got your inspiration for creating content, you need a process you can follow to convert it from an idea, from some inspiration, to the published blog or article. And I'm going to assume now that you're using some sort of content management system for your website, something like WordPress. If you're not, then I think a good place to start is revisiting your website and having it rebuilt to allow you to easily update and upload new content. You don't want to have to go back to your web designer each time you want to add a news article, add a blog post, or even make a simple change to pages. WordPress is also really valuable because it has lots of built-in features which really help with search engine optimization. Everyone's process for content creation is going to be different. I'll run through the main steps in the process I follow, and that's when I write content for the Informed Choice website, but also for clients of Bamford Media, and to create the articles that we list for sale on FinCart, and more about FinCart a bit later in the episode. So step one for me is taking the inspiration, that might be the client question, the news story, the piece of research, and coming up with a captivating headline. In the space of 3 to 7 words, I think you need to capture the essence of your blog or article, but leave just enough intrigue to make it worth the reader clicking through and reading the rest of the body. Now, I'm not a fan of clickbait. I'm not a fan of these BuzzFeed style headlines. I think you need to use a headline which sits comfortably with your brand. So keep that in mind. Always deliver in the body of the blog or the article what you promise in the headline. Don't tease people too much with it and then write about something completely different. You won't win fans that way. In terms of writing the content, just write it. Don't worry about how it reads or try to edit your copy as you write. I think that has to come later. Your writing muscle will get stronger the more you use it. And the best advice I can give is to make writing a regular habit and also to write in your own voice. So imagine you're talking to someone and just write as you speak. It's best when you're writing for websites to keep sentences and paragraphs relatively short, so 2, maximum 3 lines in a paragraph. Make it really easy for your reader to scan through the copy and absorb it easily too. Subheadings are quite handy too, so you can break up big chunks of copy and make it really easy to read. Once you've written 300 to 500 words, it's time to sit back and edit and proofread. That's when you tidy things up. You look for repetition, you look for phrases that don't sit comfortably in the body. You look for typos, tidy it up. One of our clients, who's a professional writer, has what he calls Albert's Law. And Albert's Law says that you won't find all of the typos until the minute you press publish. So don't be too precious about making it perfect. It's important, of course, not to publish blog posts or articles which are littered with spelling mistakes, but you can always fix them later when you or probably someone else finds them. So a really good tip for editing and proofreading is to read your post backwards. Start with the last sentence, the last paragraph, work your way back up the page. And don't be afraid to print out your draft and proof it on paper rather than try to do it on the screen. You can also save the draft and come back to it later, because a fresh pair of eyes will often help identify errors. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so blog posts with suitable images tend to perform a lot better than blog posts with just text. And there are loads of sites out there you can use to find royalty-free, free-to-use images. My two favourites are pexels.com, Pexel.com, and pixabay.com. When you use those, or any other royalty-free image site, be careful not to use the really cliched stock images, the type you've seen on every other personal finance website before. Look for more original images. Keep any images you choose in line with your own brand guidelines, so make sure your image use is consistent with your own brand. With the headline, the words, and the image in place, and assuming you're using a CMS like WordPress, you should think about search engine optimization. We use a WordPress plugin called Yoast SEO, and that allows us to choose a focus keyword or key phrase, and then we can tailor the blog post title, the slug, the description, and get the best possible search engine optimization. Little things like naming the image file and the alt tags on the image, the same as your focus keyword, can really help here. But Yoast SEO plugin is brilliant because it analyzes your post and it tells you how you can improve the SEO of your post. For example, adding external links or reducing the number of words in the title slug. And it uses a traffic light system. When I write blogs and publish blog posts, I don't stop until I make that traffic light turn green, which means it's good for SEO. It means Google will find it. And then you publish your content and you share it. And the sharing bit is really important because it's how people will find the content and read it. You should have a separate process in place to share every blog post you write across, I would say, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook at an absolute minimum. We encourage our customers to include their best content within a weekly email newsletter to their clients as well. And that's a great way to share your best content. There are some brilliant sharing tools out there. My preferred one is called Hootsuite. It allows us to schedule tweets and also other social media posts from one place, one dashboard. We publish a blog post and then typically we share it 3 times on Twitter on the first day, a couple of times a day later, and then once a day for the next fortnight. If it's evergreen content, so it's content that's not particularly topical, doesn't go out of date, then you can of course schedule to post it on social media for months and months into the future. So earlier in the start of this episode, I promised to share with you some of the mistakes we see financial planners making with their website content, and more importantly, how to avoid making those mistakes. I think it's really important to recognise and understand these common mistakes so you can avoid making them yourself. And we already touched on the first one. That is a failure to update your website regularly. Ideally, you need to be posting something new on your website at least once a week. If you're making content marketing a core part of your overall marketing strategy, then posting once or twice a week should really be your minimum goal here. Don't attempt to go daily unless you're an experienced writer with plenty of time, plenty of resource to produce quality content, or if you've got a large team who can share the work or you can outsource it to somebody. But do try and put at least one new blog post a week on. That should be your minimum target. Another failure we often see is a failure to update basic site content. So not the topical stuff, not the blog posts, but the basic site content. And one of the first things I look at when I visit any website is the copyright date in the footer at the bottom. You can tell an awful lot about a website from its copyright date. If it doesn't show the current year, it tells you the site is not well maintained and probably isn't a priority for the business owner. So check your copyright date, check your footer information. Financial planners often don't make their site content personal enough. What we do is very much a people business, so people by people. And I have to say, disclosing all of your personal financial information, your goals, your dreams to a faceless stranger is not an appealing prospect. So as a bare minimum, you need to put your name and your photo on your website. But better still, get personal in your bio. Bring some of your personality into the blog post you write. Make it personal. We've recently put the finishing touches to a new website for a customer, and part of this process was an author bio and photo, which automatically gets appended to every blog post at the bottom. And that's particularly useful, that tool, if you've got a team contributing to blog posts, as hopefully you will do if you're a larger business. So you can show who wrote each one, and prospective clients can get to know everyone in your team. You can share the load a little bit doing that as well. I see financial planners, actually financial advisors more often, trying to sell in their blog posts. Don't ever do that. It's going to cause you all sorts of issues with the financial promotions rules if you start mentioning specific products or funds. And prospective clients are not visiting your website to learn which fund to buy. If they are, they probably aren't the right type of client for you anyway. So don't try and sell in your content marketing. I mentioned the use of cliched images earlier. Look for originality when you're using royalty-free photos. So don't go for any handshakes, don't go for any cheesy high fives, anything like that. Look for stuff that isn't heavily used, heavily cliched. Financial planner websites which make those mistakes, especially those that fail to update with quality content on a regular basis, I think are doing themselves a real disservice, and they are missing out on inquiries. They are leaving business on the table. Well, I hope this episode's been useful. Just a few final thoughts to wrap things up. It's really important to find your own voice. We're all individuals, and our clients really value that individual voice when they're searching for a financial planner. You can get inspiration from other websites. You can get inspiration from your competitors who are maybe doing this stuff particularly well, but you are probably the biggest single factor in the success of your brand. So bring your personality, bring your individuality to the fore when you're writing your content. Work out what your favourite medium is. For me personally, I love writing and I love recording audio. I struggle with video, although I know it's something I need to do more of. Find out what works best for you. If that's recording an audio podcast or doing a Facebook live stream, that's brilliant. We're not all born to be writers. You can get better. If you're not a great writer at the moment, you can practice and get better. But whether you write or record, you can always repurpose that content into different formats for different audiences in the future. Focus on your core services. If you write about debt, you will get inquiries from people in debt. And I learned that the hard way after years of blogging, more or less about any personal finance topic. Write about and talk about the areas of personal finance that relate directly to what it is you do. Even if you decide to focus, for example, on retirement planning, I promise you will never run short of things to write about on your website. You will easily be able to create one new blog post a week based on a very specific topic. And finally, get help when you need it. I know financial planners are very busy people. Crafting this sort of compelling content for your website each and every week may not be very near the top of your to-do list. So work with experts, work with people like my team that can take that particular task off your list. It means it still gets done, and it's probably a lot more cost effective than spending hours worrying about what to write next, or whether it's good enough, or not doing it at all and missing out on those inquiries. As a thank you for listening to this episode, I've got an offer for you to finish off with. To get 50% off your first purchase at fincarts.co.uk, that's our financial planner content library, use voucher code COMPELLING at checkout. So use COMPELLING to get 50% off at fincart.co.uk. We launched Fincart earlier in this year, and it now contains more than 170 blog posts and articles that you can purchase, you can download, and then you can publish on your own website. And you can publish them under your own name, so we're effectively working as your ghostwriters. And you can publish them as they appear verbatim, or you can edit them slightly first. It's entirely up to you. As well as being able to buy articles from Fincart on an ad hoc basis, they're £27 each, but you can get 50% off your first purchase. Use code COMPELLING at checkout. You can perhaps use them to supplement your own blogging activity and keep your website content really up to date each week. But as well as buying articles ad hoc for £27 each, we've got a few membership subscription packages you can check out as well. Our most popular one I'll tell you about is called Fincart Monthly Subscription. It costs £97 a month, and it gives you access to 5 new articles each month. And until the end of December, it's discounted to £47 in your first month. There's no notice period either, so you can cancel it any time before your monthly renewal comes up. Do check it out. It's a risk-free way of experiencing Fincart and getting 5 articles a month to publish on your website. We've also got a subscription package called Fincart Go monthly subscription. That's £167 a month, but it's discounted at the moment to £117 in the first month. And this is the one where we do all the hard work for you. So we choose an on-topic blog post for you each week. We publish it to your website. We find a suitable image. We do some basic SEO work, and then we press publish so you can share it with your audience. And as I mentioned, our monthly subscription packages have got no tie-ins, they've got no lengthy contract terms, so you can give them a try without any risk. And then one last thing before I finish up. Next summer, on Friday, the 21st of June 2019, at the Electric Theatre in Guildford, we are hosting our first one-day conference for financial planners. It's called the Financial Planner Marketing Summit, and the speakers are all booked. We've got headline speaker Jamita Samara, who is a Hollywood stuntwoman and global activist, so I'm really looking forward to that day. A fantastic lineup of speakers. You can check out the website at financialplannermarketingsummit.co.uk, get details of all of the speakers there and also ticket details. Tickets are on sale now for £197 for the day. That includes lunch and refreshments. If you'd like to come along, drop me a line at martin@bamfordmedia.co.uk and I'm sure I can find you a small discount off that standard ticket price if you want to come. Just let me know you're a listener of the Financial Planner Marketing Playbook. Coming up later in season 1 of the Financial Planner Marketing Playbook, we've got some more fantastic guests. We're sharing insights from the worlds of content creation, client referrals and behavioural science. Over the coming weeks, I look forward to sharing conversations with Dr. Christophe Moran, Angelina Jaspers and Sharon Tanton, and I've handpicked those guest interviews to bring you the very latest thinking on the marketing tools and tactics that deliver results for financial planners. There's also another solo cast episode coming up later in season 1. It's where I take a deeper dive into some of my favourite ideas for generating new client inquiries. We want the Financial Planner Marketing Playbook to become the go-to marketing podcast for financial planners, wealth managers, and retail financial services providers. You can find out more about the podcast and subscribe to receive all future episodes at bamfordmedia.co.uk/podcast. And please tell a friend about it. If you know anyone working in the financial planning profession, let them know about the Financial Planner Marketing Playbook and suggest they listen, suggest they subscribe. We are looking for new listeners. Thank you for listening to this episode. I look forward to sharing with you next week, Season 1, Episode 5. It's an interview with Dr. Christophe Moran. What if you could scientifically convince anyone to close more business, promote your ideas, or even win an argument at home? With over 30 years of marketing and business development experience, Dr. Christophe Moran is passionate about understanding and predicting consumer behaviour using neuroscience. Until then, stay engaging, stay innovative, and stay authentic. Thank you for listening.